Welcome everyone. Today we have an incredibly powerful rogue build for Season 8 for Diablo 4. Now looking behind me, we're learning this from one of the Chinese content creator who's demonstrating this build. Currently he's clearing out pit 70 and he has been speed farming over pit 75 consistently. So looking behind me, looking at the build is super fast and it is incredibly powerful. You can see the extreme mobility of the build and also amount of damage that is dealt to the monsters. And as the rogue dashes around, dealing multiple instances of damages after coming out of stealth and also casting its ultimate, you can see that he pretty much cleared to the boss in under 2 minutes. And let's have a look at the boss. So this build is incredibly powerful because you have the ability to stack your death trap, and that was the boss. So the entire fight for pit 70 took about 2 minutes. And the Chinese content creator was consistently farming pit 70 plus on day 1 of Season 8 using this super powerful build. We can say it's broken, right? So the build has mobility, it's got survivability, tons of damage, and the best of all is that you are scaling towards your death trap and you feel super powerful as you dash around, one-shotting pretty much everything on the map. Now briefly have a look at the build and explaining what is happening. This build is using Death Trap. By resetting and also casting multiple Death Trap, you also turn Death Trap into a core spell, which scales incredibly well with core spell skills together with the ability to overpower with Death Trap. So as you guys can see over here, the bosses are getting one-shotted in pit 70. Now in terms of the core mechanics of the build, you are going into stealth, and after coming out of stealth, your damage is heavily amplified. After spending 270 maximum resource, your next attack will be guaranteed to overpower with a unique amulet with a Banished Lord. And this really allows you to amplify the damage coming out of stealth and then overpowering with your Death Trap. Death Trap is triggered multiple times, it also resets, and Death Trap is now a core spell. We're also scaling Death Trap's damage by using your grenades, and this in return gives you tons of damage, a lot of mobility, and the ability to do this pretty much. And of course, there is going to be a few important unique items that you need to understand and also combine for this build. And I'll go through all of those with you guys in this guide. Now before we go over to the builder's guide, I'd like to say a big thank you and also credit to the Chinese content creator 如果不是七. We have been learning from him in the past, and he does have a version that is Chinese that can be translated to English. But in his current version, it is designed for the latest stage of the game with 2 uber unique or mythical items. So I have translated his current build over here, and let's go through this one together. Now coming over to the gears and also choices of uniques, there are a number of unique items that is a must-have to combine this build to make it work. The first unique item we have is going to be the Scoundrel's Leather chest piece. And this chest piece, the implicit ability allows your Death Trap to become core spells. And this means you can scale with core spells affixes and also scales with even more ranks to core spells. Together with core spells that is guaranteed to overpower using this unique amulet, this gives you tons of overpower damage. Now in terms of the boots over here, this boots allows us to have ultimate cooldown reduction and also maximum resource. It is possible in the latest stage of the game to tempering and also to get greater effects onto the maximum resource and also drinking maximum resource potions, which can push you over 270 maximum resource. And this in return spends all your energy and then empowers your core spell, which is now a Death Trap spell. And this pretty much lets you to one-shot everything in the super late stage of the game. At the moment, if you don't have 275 primary resource, that is okay as well. But one of the biggest goals for the build is to get the maximum resource to over 750, and that is by finding the greater effects on these particular boots, and then tempering this one to at least 2 or 3 times critical onto the maximum resource. Now during this time, you'll also be looking for these unique pins. This allows your Death Trap to re-deal and also re-arm itself, dealing incredibly more damage, and this pins is also essential for the build. And combining with those 4 pieces of the unique gears, you'll be dealing a lot higher damage. During this time, it is not a must-have to buy up the Banished Lord, but it will help a lot because you'll be dealing even higher overpower damage. Now as for the rest of the gears, what you want to notice is during some of the tempering for the gears, it is always scaling towards the next attack after entering stealth. You can see the weapon tempering over here, we have chances of death trap to deal double damage. After that, it is the damage on the next attack after entering stealth. So, one thing to talk about entering stealth over here. It is coming from the boss powers as well. If we have a look at the Belial beans over here, after activating the main boss powers, you are granted stealth for 2 seconds. After entering stealth, you deal higher overpower damage. So you could be entering stealth pretty consistently, and the tempering allows you to enter stealth and then dealing even higher damage because of this. In terms of the rest of the aspects, over here you have a survivability aspects by getting free dark shot. And this pretty much allows you to auto-cast this ability without having to cast this one manually. In terms of the biggest scaling for the Death Trap, it is coming from these particular aspects. This allows Death Trap to be enjoying the benefits and also damage multipliers coming from the stun grenade. And in return, you can see a number of abilities is buffing stun grenade, which in return will give you even higher Death Trap ability damage. So this means you can see there's a lot of stun grenade, and all of those stun grenades will in return gives you higher death trap damage. Of course, you could be getting additional ultimate skills damage, ultimate skill cooldowns, and also even further damage with your ultimate skills. Now in terms of the choices of the FXs, you can see the Chinese content creator is currently just using transitional gears, dexterity, maximum life, any resistance that you can find it. And at the same time, the tempering for the weapons is always going for Death Trap to deal double damage, and once this gets to close to 100%, then he can look towards dealing additional damage on the next attack or getting more dexterity. In terms of the rings, you can also find more resistance and also socket those for additional armor. So, briefly having a look at the choices of the boss powers. Our main boss power over here is going to allow you to have the 15% cooldown reduction. The build heavily relies on casting your ultimate, so finding cooldown reduction is actually really preferable. Now do keep in mind, those boss powers are work in progress. So the Chinese content creator did mention he wants to adjust them a little bit in the future, and especially after getting his Harlequin's quest, which will give him a lot more cooldown reduction. In terms of the rest of the powers, you have increasing of elemental damage, and over here you have additional vulnerability damage increase. And finally, this ability allows you to go into stealth, which is amazingly good. Now in terms of the choices of the jewels, you can be going with critical damage and also additional dexterity, together with more armors over here. And of course, I forgot to mention that we are specializing in preparation, which will help you to reduce your ultimate skills cooldown. And having preparation over here also goes back to us having penetrating shot. Penetrating shot is not allocated in the skill tree as you're going to see, but rather having the core skill abilities gives you free penetrating shot. So the reason you have this is that you can spend a lot of energy to reduce your ultimate skill cooldown. So using penetrating shot quickly spend your energy and then reduce your ultimate cooldown for the death trap should you need the cooldown reduction. Most of the time, you have really low cooldowns with the Death Trap already, and this really helps with even further lowering your cooldowns, as you guys are going to see in the replays, pretty much have no cooldowns because of using those combos. Now briefly coming over to the skill passives of the build, and again guys, the Chinese content creator has mentioned that this is different to his final version of the build, simply because it is a transitional build, so we'll be staying tuned for his future update to see how the role works. So, over here we have a few passive points over here for damage reduction and also additional damage. And over here we can see that a lot of points is allocated into Dark Shot, together with additional beneficial passives that give us even higher damage and also additional scaling. We'll be investing into 5 points into the Death Trap of course, and this gives us the highest damage scaling. Together with the ability to go into Exposure, which is great for increasing damage. The content creator has mentioned that in the future, he plans to go into close combat, but this also depends on him finding again the endgame gears that he's looking for, together with Harlequin's quest and also the Doombringer. So, just use the skill trees for now, because this is likely going to be slightly adjusted in the future as he gets better gears, and I'll keep you guys updated. Now in terms of the mercenary, nothing special. He's using Chapeau as the high mercenary and also Reina over here, and Chapeau will providing us with increasing critical strike damage. Briefly coming over to the Paragon board, and let's have a look at the Paragon board. Over here we'll be using 5 different glyphs together with Ambush, canny, explosive, turf, and also control. And in terms of the legendary nods, we have No Witness, which increases your ultimate damage and also bonus damage, together with over here with Chip Shot to have us to increase our damage dealt towards crowd control enemies, and also coming over here, which we have Dense Macabre, which allows us to have increased damage on the next ability cast. And finally, the legendary nod with Deadly Ambush allows us to deal 30% increase in critical damage to enemies affected by your trap skills, which is pretty much always the case. So coming over to the replays for additional tips and those skill rotations, you can see that we're constantly dashing around, casting concealment, and during this time, one of the ways to lower your ultimate cooldown is to use your core spell with Penetrating Shot, spending 75 resource, and this will lower your ultimate by 3 seconds. So it's important to spend your resource this way as well if you find yourself a little lower cooldowns with your ultimate ability that is not resetted. And during this time, you'll always be casting your Death Trap onto the enemies. As it groups enemies together, as it kills them, and also, as it one-shots them, you'll be resetting your cooldowns, which allows you to pretty much infinitely dashing around. And that is pretty much the build. You stay mobile, you'll be casting multiple skills, including concealment and also death trap, and then you'll be dashing around. This allows you to have a lot of mobility, tons of damage, and you're pretty much always in the stealth mode. Against the boss, this is also the same. You do want to be dashing multiple times, and during this time, you also want to be using your catch-ups together with your poison trap as well, and this pretty much allows you to take the boss down in multiple concessions. And the build is wonderfully powerful. We can see that within the first day of the release of the game, the content creator has already started farming Pit 70 in about 2 minutes or under 2 minutes. Now hopefully I have translated everything for you guys on this cool rogue build. And for those of you that can read Chinese and also understand Chinese, I do recommend you follow the Chinese content creator and also watching his explanation of the video guide. And he has provided us with the endgame version of the build, which I also have the links available for you guys to have a look. But do keep in mind guys, this is a work in progress. You're going to see a lot of different variation of the skill choices, item choices compared to his current setup in Season 8. Because previously he was using this one in Season 7 and this is also updating towards Season 8 as well. Now hopefully you guys found today's video helpful. Again, a big thank you to everyone on YouTube, especially our supporters and also those of you guys who's been supporting me on Patreon as well. And we do have a new feature on the Mattjestic YouTube channel. If you click onto this, you can become a member. Yes, I've added this just recently and this will allow you to have early access to videos that is posted a few hours or even half a day earlier if you want to watch those videos a little early. But yes, this will cost money. So please be aware the membership will cost money. And if you do want to watch videos normally, those videos will still be available after 6 to 12 hours, normally on the time we post those videos. And I'll be aiming to post at least one Path of Exile video a day. And this will be including guides, tips, news update, and also the latest tricks that is discovered on both the English and also Chinese community to keep you guys updated. And if you like those videos, make sure you leave a nice comment and also leave a like for those videos. If you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of Diablo 4 related topics and also videos and also guides. We'll be looking to the top meta builds, non-meta builds, leveling up, and also Paragon tricks. We're also looking to the latest events and also official updates and also changes to different characters and also different builds in the game. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn the notification on, because a lot of you who are watching the videos have not subscribed. You can see 80% of the viewers who are watching our videos have not subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for the latest update for Diablo 4.